What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. I hope y'all are feeling wonderful and great and beautiful because you're wonderful and great and beautiful people. And you know what those type of people do? They like these videos and they subscribe and they put little comments down there. Do that.
Better acknowledge we gon' pop and be on top. Got chain on, gang, and game on lock. Cause we the ace. Go pedal the metal like we in a race. We wearing capes.
So, the first 2 days I talked about it in the first video. So this video is going to be about the 3rd, 4th, and 5th day that we were in Guatemala. I kind of lumped them all together because I didn't get as much recording done as I would have liked, but I did get a lot of pictures. And then on top of that, like, we were kind of doing a lot of performances just back to back to back to back to back. So, and we wanted to spend a lot of time with the kids. So I didn't record as much as I would have liked to, but it's fine though, because I'm gonna go back. It's whatever. But one thing I didn't mention in the first video that I did, that I will mention in this one is the food. I took pictures of everything we ate. Everything, because I wanted y'all to see it and experience it. So I will put, you know, day 1's food and day 2's food and all that, but I wanted y'all to see that as well, because one thing about the diet there, like, they do eat a lot of like corn tortillas and stuff like that, but they eat a lot of fruit. And that was one of my favorite things about it, is getting fresh fruit with pretty much every meal. So that was really important to me. But day 3 is when we actually started going to the schools. So again, as I mentioned, we have 5 schools that we performed at Patzal, Chitulil, Chipop, Godines, and Las Robles. Those were the 5 schools. Las Robles was the town that we were actually staying in. So that's the school that our kids went to. Yes, I call them our kids, but that's the school that our kids went to. So that was actually the last school that we went to. But in total, we performed for about, I want to say, over 500 kids. And we pretty much, like, we had some really big schools and some small schools. Some schools we had to split the groups into 2, and we had to do 2 performances on that day. So those days, y'all, was tired. We were so tired. Oh my God. We were just like, we broke down. But we did perform for them sometimes twice in a day, and we would do the actual performance about, like, brushing your teeth and, hey, here's the introduction, this is who I am. And we had all these little symbols that we taught them for, like, signs like rotation, which is rotación, flexion, flexion, extension, extension, and there were a couple of more forma, which is making a shape, and just we taught them those, and then we used them in the show, so they were able to see it and, like, connect with it and stuff like that. Then we did our dance performance at the end. It was so much fun to see the kids react and just, like, play, and we got to bring them school supplies. We got to bring them school supplies and stuff like that, because that was one of the things that the school said that they needed, so that was very important. But yeah, we went through, I want to say Patzal was first, then it was Chitulil, and then it was Chipop. So 1, 2, and 3. Those were the schools that we went to on those days. We on day 3. It's first performance day. Ooh, why is it flat in the middle? We're about to go get ready to eat breakfast so we can go to the first school and perform for the kids and everything. So yeah, it's like we're super excited because we get to see the babies play with the kids and all that good stuff, you know. Yeah, that's about it. All right, we are on the band.
Everybody's got their clothes.
Yes.
Everybody's got their cards.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Everybody's got their cards. Everybody's got their. Wait, no.
She said, "Why no?"
Everybody's got their tissue paper for the toilets.
Yep.
Yes.
Sand sanitizer.
Sand sanitizer?
Sand sanitizer. We're putting down a lot of sand. Okay, well that'll work.
I didn't know we was sanitizing
I have
sand.
the speakers. What were you guys supposed to remind me to bring?
The speakers, the school supplies, and the pinata and the soccer ball.
Where's that? Where's the signs?
Sorry.
And you had somebody has the stick for the thing? Soccer ball.
I got it.
In there.
Oh, Matthew was supposed to. You got it?
We got the death stick for Paul.
That's the
We're putting
His name is Paul.
stick day more.
This one is Paul.
Serenity, what?
I was not expecting. You had to record this early in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, hey.
She just has it right on me. I don't know why I had to stick in my head.
So pretty.
So look, you guys. So,
3, 2, 1, tiempo. No,
Like I said, our schedule was packed because like we would go to, we have to wake up at like 6, go to eat breakfast at 7:30. The kids were already gone and headed off to school. Then we would go to the school, perform at the school, come back for lunch. After lunch, we did a workshop with the kids for about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, depending on what we were doing. Then after that, we had like a really small break. We would have to eat dinner, come back in, and we also had projects that we had to do. Like we each had to pick a subject, and each night 2 people would present what they learned about that subject in Guatemala or Guatemalan culture. And so we were getting back into bed, you know, and then we had to take our showers and stuff and prep for the next morning. So our schedules were like that pretty much every day we performed. It's day 3. So we're excited. We get to go to another school, but very sore. The bed is tearing up my hips. Okay. Yeah. How you feeling? Same. Who? I feel like I'm. Oh, it's at school. We're at school. Look at you. This is in there. Oh, look at the baby. Ooh. This is our second performance space. It's a lot bigger because this is a much bigger school with a lot more kids. You can kind of see out here, you see the mountains in the back and everything. Oh, someone's little house is right here. Oh, wow. And I think, oh, he's working on a building over there. I don't know if that's for a home or if that's actually for like the school or anything. But you can kind of see some of the kids coming out and looking around. They're really excited to see us. So yeah. And even go on front and say like we weren't tired, because as we stayed, the closer we got to the kids, so the longer we wanted to stay out and play with them and just connect with them. And that caused us to stay like out late because the time that we were supposed to be taking a break, we were outside playing tag and playing kickball and coloring and drawing, and just it was so much, but it was a lot of fun. Like it was tiring, but it was a good type of tired, you know. We're in day 4. I think this is our 3rd performance day. Because we performed, yeah, 3rd performance day. People are getting very tired and just don't want to pull that up. I don't know, but thank you. But we're really tired, and and trying to just push through the performances. Yeah. It is towards the end of day 4. And I'm sitting here stretching my hips out on my bed because I'm tired and they are really tight. Still a good trip and all that. Miss my baby and my baby. Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. Oh, the kids got confused because apparently they thought I cut my hair off because it's not fluffy and big anymore, as they say. And then when I told them I twisted it, they asked me why and why was it so different. And yeah, so I had to explain natural black hair to Guatemalan children. Never thought I'd be able to say that sentence, but I did. Okay, cool. I'm gonna take a shower because I stink. See y'all peeps.
Okay. Okay, what are you?
I look awful. I know.
He has hands. He's not supposed to have hands. Look. Look. Look at that.
He's just really like
He is not supposed to have hands. He's supposed to have wings. Look at that.
Are you upset, Matthew?
Yes. Yes, I am.
He's a toucan.
Toucan Sam is not supposed to have hands.
I don't think I've ever noticed that until you pointed it out.
See, it's just one of those things he points out, like the floor.
Another interesting thing that we did get to do, there is like a health clinic there that Humanitize does get supplies and stuff for. And so we did spend some of our time in there just reorganizing all of the medicine and the supplies and stuff they had in there. There was a lot. And y'all know me and my OCD self. Like, I literally reorganized the medicines because, like, I was just like, ooh, yeah. I spent a little minute in there, but it looks so good. It's fine. But also, going to the schools, like driving and stuff, we got to go into like some of the towns, and that was interesting because you can see how different it is there than it is here. Like, for one, the streets is narrow. Okay, our van was like this big, the streets was like this big. Like, we were literally, you could reach your hand out the window and touch the wall. Like, it was so crazy. There were people just walking past though, like they were not fazed by it at all. And then on top of that, we were going up the street and they don't have signs, so there's no, oh, don't go this way or one way, or there's none of that. They just know where to go. And we were going up a street and this huge van starts coming at us, so we had to drive backwards down the street until he could like curve and park in this little space until the van went by, and then come back out and go back up the street. And I was just like, this is the craziest thing I've ever experienced. Like, imagine if you're on a one-way road or like a dirt road, a real small dirt road, and you're going, the only way you can go is straight, and the only way this other car can go is this way. One of y'all has to drive backwards to get where you need to go. And that's exactly what happened. So that was crazy, but it was fun. It was just an interesting experience, you know? Yeah. So yeah, besides being extremely tired, we still just, we had a lot of fun, you know? And then every night, they were like, wanted us to get to bed by like 10 or 11, because we had so much to do. But we really just sat up for some hours, like just talking to each other, which I really, really loved. Like, we got to connect with each other, like, I'm saying like a lot, but we got to connect to each other on a really different level. Like being in classes with someone and hanging out with someone, you know, that's cool. But when you go to this experience, like it was very different being with the same group of people. And I feel like we all have this like Guatemalan connection now that when we go back to classes, it's something that's still gonna be there. Like even now, like even after the trip, we still was talking and all that. Like we built that connection, which I really loved. But yeah, so the middle of that week was nothing but work. Another workshop that I would say was my favorite was the reading workshop. So the kids in the orphanage were kind of split into like floors, and so the younger kids and stuff and the girls were on the floor, and then the boys were on the second floor, and we got to go and read to them. So I was like, okay, I'll go read, you know, and we had to choose which floor we wanted to go on. So I went to go read to the boys, and I completely fell in love with those little boys. Like, okay, so a lot of the kids at the orphanage only speak Spanish, and I can speak enough Spanish to have a conversation with them, and we also had interpreters, but some of them, some of the newer ones spoke English, and so they were teaching the other ones English. And so it was very interesting because some of the books that they have are in English and Spanish. And when I started reading, to a young boy, his name was Alexon. I started reading to him first, and so he would ask me, read this in English. And so I read it, and then he was like, can you read this in Spanish? And can you read this part in English? Or he'll ask me to repeat it in English. And so, and he would point out some words, and he'll say like, ¿qué es? Or what's that? And I was like, do you want to know it in English or in Spanish? And he'll say in English. And so I'll explain it to him. So it was just very nice. And then it got to the point, we were only supposed to be up there, I think, for about an hour and a half. I was up there for almost 3 hours. But it got to the point to where I was so caught up in them and reading to them and reading with them, because Luis is another one of the boys. He wanted to read as well, so he would read half of the page and he'll say, now you read it, and I would read the rest of it. And so I had like 2 of them on my shoulders. It was 3 sitting around me. 1 was laying on my leg. Luis was standing right next to me, and I had one in my lap, and I was covered in children. But I don't know, I think we read, oh man, we read so many books. I know we read The 3 Little Monkeys, but we read it in both English and in Spanish. We read a Harry Potter book in English. We read some nursery rhymes, and just, I don't know, like I loved that moment, you know. And I think it's because I have 4 younger brothers, and so I'm really close to my brothers, and just I really care for them. And I also have a soft spot for kids, but these are kids that are, you know, people look at them and they're like, oh no, you know, they're in an orphanage, that's so sad. But they're the sweetest kids you could ever meet, and they want to learn. Like they have this yearning to want to learn English and to want to speak it and want to be bilingual. And I'm just like, I was obsessed. Like it was so amazing. And yeah, like my teacher came up there and she was like, hey, you know, it's almost time for dinner. And I was like, and she was like, you can stay a little bit longer if you want to. And I mean, I was like, okay. And so I ended up staying a little bit longer before I had to go and eat. But I think that was probably the most memorable workshop for me, because I don't know, I just felt so at home, and my heart was so full. Like it makes me emotional thinking about it. Like, but it was a beautiful moment. And I wish I could have gotten more videos of me actually being with them, and or if somebody could have recorded it, because I just wish y'all would have seen it. Like it was wonderful. But yeah, so whew, out of my feelings. But yeah, so those were our performance days, and it was a lot of fun. Like I really enjoyed myself. Now the days after that, we also, you know, we did another performance, but it was also our last day with the kids. So I'll talk about that in the other video, but we did get to do a huge thing for them, and I was so excited to be there with them and just experience it and everything. But yeah, so it was Patzal, Chitulil, Chipop. Oh, and another school that I mentioned, the 4th school, was Godinez. I want to say that was the smallest one we had, but that was the town that we would travel to use Wi-Fi, to go to the little Wi-Fi hut. Right.
Oh, what? Yeah, no, day 6. Well, I'm counting from Saturday.
Okay, so 5. Ooh, what is that? I don't know. Oh, that's just a dark spot. But, yes, day 5, we're about to go to school number 4. We just finished breakfast. Right now, we're just waiting on the van. The older kids have went to school. The little babies are the only ones left. But yeah, we're on our 4th school, and we're gonna do our 1 performance today, I think.
Who are you talking to?
Myself.
All right.
And then we're gonna come back, have lunch, and then we get to plan our own activities with the kids, which I am so excited about. So yeah, I had peanut butter in my tooth. All right.
Irving, ¿saben dónde está el baño?
Acá.
Oh, wow. It's
Okay,
like
and you
really
guys come
big.
with me. I'm gonna have you guys give the gifts to the driver.
Oh, it's over here too.
Estaba tratando de recordar.
Okay, babe, we don't want you around us. Is that new show with like the top dogs?
Mm-hmm. Paw Patrol. I love those kids. Oh my God. And being able to perform for them, like, they loved it. And it's crazy because, like, in the dance, I do this crazy, like, backbend thing. Ooh, if you go on my Instagram, I posted a picture of me doing it on a cliff thing. So yeah, I did that in the dance, and like the kids were like it was crazy, it was insane. But yeah, just the performances, summing it up: tiring, crazy, wonderful, great, children, my heart. But yeah, so that's it. That's it for this one, at least. Now, the last day, I wanted to dedicate time to the last day and all of that, because we did do something super special. But and I'll explain all of that. But for this video, that's it. We done. We finished. Period. But thank y'all for watching. If y'all liked it, give it a like. If you want to say something, go comment, because you know, tell me what you gotta say. And if you want to see more of the series, or if you haven't saw the first video, this says part 2. So go to part 1, watch that one, like it, then come back here and like this one. And if you want to see the next one, subscribe and push the little button, and you'll get to see it when I post it. Yeah, and that's all I gotta say. That's it. I'm done. I'm out of here.
Cause we be poppin', and it ain't no way for